Now, it's not just you, Phil, or you, Bill, or you, Brian, that thinks Jersey might not have been 100% honest with us, though Brian's probably the best person here for Jersey. It's an incredible invention that you've come up with, Phil. It's basically the AI version of you. At your company, QVerity, you've been working on an AI lie detector into which you've put all the Phil Houston magic. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, it is a tool that we're short of 3 years developing. It is an incredible lie detection system. It's text-based. So if you have a conversation with someone and that conversation can be legally recorded and transcribed, when you put it in, Q will give you the answer. Forgive me for the genderizing of Q, but when we asked Q, what did he look like? He came back with an image and it's a male, so we're calling him he. So he indicated to us with a review of some of your interview with John Tanko, tremendous deception. Now, Q is better than Phil Houston, and it's better than, I believe, anyone on the planet, and for this reason. Number one, Q has no bias. While AI can have bias, we went through something we refer to as constructive confinement. In other words, Q's existence has never been exposed to anyone or anything else but the deception, the job of detecting deception and the training and the concepts and so forth. And the reason he's better than us is for 3 reasons. The no bias, his cognitive capability is far greater than certainly in mine, but we believe, just because it's AI, related, it's better than, in terms of detecting deception, than anyone else on the planet. His analytical processing is faster than any of our processing. So, for example, when I'm doing an interview, I spot a deceptive behavior here, a deceptive behavior there, so on and so forth. When Q does his job, he looks at each question and answer individually. He doesn't know what any of the other questions are or what other things at that moment in time. He just doesn't know it. He deals only with what's in front of him. And
so if I can interject, Megyn, it's essentially Phil is Bobby Fischer, and he invented the computer that could beat him at chess.
Every single time.
So I'm just looking at, because you've shared some of this with me, and on some of the items that we went through. Like, for example, here's you fed into him the question of his aggression toward Bill. Who's this big shot lawyer with you? And my question was, what we're trying to do is help them. The way I see it is we're trying to provide them with closure. You can help us do that, and with some comfort, and just figuring out what the story is. And his answer was, who's this big shot lawyer? Ain't he? Or he's this big shot lawyer. Ain't he? See that they do these stories and then people just trash my name. They totally trash my name. You know what I mean? I was involved with a lot of illegal activity back then. Here's Q. In the speaker's reply, 2 key patterns emerge. 1, hostile or dismissive attack on the question itself. Rather than answer, the speaker launches into a confrontational challenge. He's this big shot lawyer, aren't you? Which serves to intimidate or undermine the questioner instead of providing any direct information. 2, off-topic commentary that avoids the question's core demand. The speaker shifts to complaining about how they do these stories and trash my name, introducing irrelevant detail and emotional framing rather than supplying the specific answer sought. Conclusion, deceptive behavior indicated. Because these 2 tactics both divert attention and repel the direct inquiry, the response meets the threshold for deceptive behavior. That's so interesting, Phil. You did this with Q time and time again on all of these questions you and I just went through with the audience. And each time Q said, he's lying.
Yes. He is, he can do all of that. What he does every single question, it's segmented analysis. He's not looking at the transcript as a whole. It's as every single question and answer is he analyzes. When he moves on to the next one, you can go back and ask the previous one 100 times, and each time it will be the first time for him. He has no memory
So
of
he's
what
not like,
just.
he already lied to me 5 times. I'm going to give him the likelihood of lying on time number 6, question 6.
Yeah, it's that's not it. That's not a consideration in his analysis. It is. He's looking. So we ask him. Look at this question, analyze it. He analyzes it, says it's deceptive behavior. We wipe the slate clean. It's automatically wiped away, and he moves on to the next one. He has no memory of what he just did, or ever
Wow.
seeing that question. And the significance of that is to preclude the development of bias. And what the other thing that, Megyn, that's unbelievable, and why speed is important in the analysis, is that unlike myself, I might see a behavior or two, but with him, he looks at every single possible deceptive behavior in his training and in the book, that could not in the book we wrote, but in that we've given him to look for. There's a huge number of behaviors. He looks at every single one of those in a matter of seconds, and then gives you, and then puts that into his analysis, and then creates the narrative.
Okay, here's another one. We're going to play SOT 11, which you fed to Q. Let's watch it. This is of Tanko.
That story is that some just random person came to the house and kidnapped me, right?
Yeah.
So now the FBI's involved. They vacuum bagged the whole house. And if my DNA was in there, like from dead skin cells, I'd be charged. It wasn't in the house.
Did the cops talk to you?
Yeah, they told me this.
Did they ever take DNA?
Yeah,
They did.
yeah,
Oh, what did they, like a saliva? They did.
yeah.
Did they tell you that you were
They said
cleared?
I didn't have to, but I did it anyway.
Okay. And did they tell you you were cleared and you were good to go?
No, they didn't say, they still say it's an open case.
The analysis. In reviewing the speaker's answer, I identified 2 categories of behavior that suggest avoidance rather than a straightforward response. 1, referring back to a previous statement. The speaker says, "That's what I'm saying." This phrase explicitly points back to an earlier remark instead of adding new information. By implying the matter has already been settled, it discourages follow-up and shifts focus away from the core question. So interesting. Number 2, introducing off-topic details and hypothetical scenarios. Throughout the rest of the reply, the speaker describes how the FBI might collect DNA. The FBI vacuumed out the house with my DNA. Speculates about skin cell counts. You have 1 million skin cells. Outlines procedural steps. They're going to bag it up. They're going to DNA it to me. And warns of hypothetical legal consequences. And I'd be charged. There's no doubt about it. The conclusion is deceptive behavior indicated. None of these clauses addresses the direct question. What, if any, role they played in baby Lisa's disappearance? Instead, they divert attention toward evidence and how it might be handled or why charges could follow. Because the response repeatedly relies on referring back to earlier remarks and on supplying extraneous, distraction-oriented content rather than clarifying involvement, it meets the threshold for indicating deceptive behavior. What will the effect of the sparring between President Trump and the Federal Reserve be? Can the Fed take the right action at the right time? Or are we going to be looking at a potential economic slowdown? And what does this mean for your savings? Consider diversifying with gold through Birch Gold Group. For decades, gold has been viewed as a safe haven in times of economic stagnation, global uncertainty, and high inflation. And Birch Gold makes it incredibly easy for you to diversify some of your savings into gold. If you have an IRA or an old 401k, you can convert that into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, or just buy some gold to keep in your safe. First, get educated. Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. Just text MK to the number 989898. Again, text MK to 989898 and consider diversifying a portion of your savings into gold. So if the Fed cannot stay ahead of the curve for the country, at least you can stay ahead for yourself. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.